Good afternoon. As you know, if you listen to any of my sharings before, polarities fascinate me because it's my way of truly getting a grip on non-duality. Apparent dualities, opposites, in a sense being part of each other. And I came across a little bit of a different one, and it's a polarity, but not in the sense of like day and night, tall and short, old and young. Real obvious opposites. So today I would like to talk about illusions and delusions. Both primarily misunderstanding, misinterpretation, but where they come from, where they arise, shows their polarities. Illusion is an instance of a wrong or misinterpreted perception or a sense of a sensory experience. Deceptive appearance or impression. So the key here is sensory perception. Illusions come from the outside. I put together my first audio-visual presentation, which I'll share with you now. And this is an example of an illusion. Both horizontal lines are equal length. So this picture, two horizontal lines, each flanked with fins. The upper horizontal line looks bigger than the lower one, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, actually both lines are the same length. Seeing is believing, but this is an example of an illusion. Much as magician, optical illusion, since it's a sense, one of the sensory perception, optical illusion. Magic is a sleight of hand, optical illusion. And once informed, once I tell you that the horizontal lines are equally as long, once I tell you, and more importantly, give you a chance to measure the lines, most people will accept that the senses have deceived them. It will accept that both lines are indeed the same length. The illusion will persist. You can't avoid it. The illusion persists. You can't avoid it. Definitely looks longer. If I hadn't drawn this myself, I wouldn't really I'd have serious doubt as to which was longer. So even though you can't avoid the perception, most people can accept, once they've measured, they can accept, oh, it's an illusion, but actually they're the same. But there are those that would retain the belief, even though there's empirical evidence that the upper is longer. They would have a delusion, a misbelief. And two that came to mind immediately, dealing with illusions that become delusions. Creationism, the idea that God created the earth and the world, literal interpretation of the Bible, the parables in the Bible, leading them to say that the earth, everything we know, was created 6 days, and on the seventh day he took a break. So everyone could go to church, I guess. Yeah, it was considerate, wasn't it? And the flat earthers come to mind. People persist to believe, I don't know how many, and I don't know why, but they persist to believe that the earth is flat. So I'm going to read now. I've been trying to scan and read. The difference between illusion and delusion. Illusion is something caused by outside influence. But delusion is caused by feelings inside. So outside in, inside out. Delusion is a fixed belief which can be false or fanciful. Illusion is only distortion of the senses. Illusion is a physical phenomenon, and delusions and delusions pertain to the mental aspect. This is where beliefs come from, don't they? From inside. And a further, this one got my interest in because of the use of a word. Delusion and idiosyncratic belief or impression maintained despite contradictions by reality or rational judgment. Idiosyncratic. The word just caught me, and I thought, hey, this is not how I would use the word, because it's sort of a pejorative, a negative sense here. So I went ahead and did some research on idiosyncrasies, idiosyncratic people, personality, amongst which I happily count myself. And after reading this list, does it fit you? Not being like anyone else. This is something that's been with me my whole life. Man, you're different. I've heard this since childhood. And since I never wanted to be the same, I took it always as a compliment, even though it might not have been intended to be one. Marching to your own beat. Being unconventional. Being original. Standing out from the crowd. Inner life predominates. Rich inner life. Leading to their being and feeling like you're in your own world. Feeling like you didn't fit anywhere except in your own world. Maybe because you didn't fit, you create a place where you do fit. Who knows? I went through this process. I probably. Doing your own thing. Just do your own thing. I've always done that. Will continue to do my own thing. Expanded reality. I love this. The reality is large. Metaphysics, interest in metaphysics, the big essential questions. And the last one, outward view. Now this one needs a little more explanation because it seems like everything is inward. Though they are inner directed and follow their own hearts and minds, they're also keen observers of others and the world around them. So even not fitting into the world, feeling a square peg in a round hole, doesn't preclude witnessing, keeping a close eye on the world and the people that fill it. So I mentioned before about optical illusions, magicians that convince people, I hate to call it trickery, but sleight of hand, misdirected attention. And I find magic fun. But I certainly don't entertain the idea that it's real. And that's funny because what is real? So maybe magic is just as illusory as everything else. Reality with a little r. Reality as our ego measures, counts, quantifies, qualifies, divides, separates. So illusions is something I can embrace. Maya, when everything we think we know, we think we see, we think we hear, we think we touch, we think we feel, is not. Now, every time that I talk about everything is nothing and nothing is everything, I like to attach a caveat. I like to attach a disclaimer. Just because nothing is ultimately real does not excuse, preclude you from dealing with reality with a little r, the reality of your life, life as it finds you. You gotta deal. As long as we're in this physical form, and I suspect long after we've left this body, there'll still be aspects that could be categorized, dismissed as illusionary, but it will not preclude, it will not forgive you from dealing with that. And this keeps it from collapsing into who cares? It doesn't matter. What's the point? As long as it's illusion, some people will take this track. And counter to this, we have a responsibility to deal with the world as it finds us. We have to participate. It's kind of like playing the game. It's the difference between inactive watching and active watching. Not washing, watching. Active or inactive watching. Active watching means that not only do you see, observe the world around you, but you participate. You never seek it out. You never go looking for anything. There's nothing to find. You have it all within. But if the world comes your way, if someone's knocking on your front door, get up from your meditation and go deal with them. The inactive watcher is only part of what a watcher truly is. If you get too hung up on inactive watching, you start to separate, you start to divide. The ego slips in the cracks right here. The other, you're watching the other. A watcher, to me, first and foremost, watches themselves. Watch themselves responding to what the world brings to them, promising itself that if you didn't do a very good job this particular time, that you will be forgiven and you'll have lots of more opportunities to learn from your mistakes. So this active participation is the watcher that I know. The watcher without judgment. The watcher full of forgiveness, ready to embrace you after you've done something that didn't fulfill all the criteria that you have expected of yourself. It's waiting there to hug you and forgive you. So I recommend, I do a daily activity, a nightly activity, as I review my day. And I mentioned recording. I keep a little day timer, a little day planner, and after, as I'm resting, as I'm waiting for sleep, I write down the key points for my day. Usually things that I've accomplished, because the outer work, I need reminders. My inner work is a constant process, so I don't have to write down thoughts, feelings, observations. It's the doing part of human beings. It's the human doing that I keep a record of. And why? I don't know. It's part of being organized. But after I write, it's very cursory, very, very few, just the key, mostly abbreviations that I recognize. And bike ride today, yes or no? Breakfast, did I cook breakfast or did I go out for breakfast? What did I buy at the market today? How much money did I spend? I do keep track of my spending activities. So I think this is a habit that I've always had as long as I can remember. I guess as long as I could write. And then the secondary and more important part of the day of this reckoning is a review of my reactions, my dealings with the other. How did I do? Could I do better? Always we can do better. That's one thing. I look at you with some certainty. There's always room for improvement. We can always get better. But if I had a downright failure, I hug myself and I forgive myself and I look at the morrow for another opportunity which will surely come to do better, step by step, degree by degree. Just as we ponder, pursue, I was going to say, but that's an action. Pursue awakening. When we labor under the misconception that awakening will lead to a destination couched in bliss and joy, where nobody will rain on our parade. And we call this enlightenment. But enlightenment is not a destination. It's not the end result of a process, the searching, the rigorous self-examination. You never end up in a static condition. Nothing in this world is in stasis. Everything continues to change. Even in death is not the end, even of the physical body, because the body will go back to whence it came. Your minerals, your body stuff will return to the earth if you choose to be buried, or if you choose to be if you choose to be incinerated. I'm stumbling for a word, it's so cute. It'll come to me and I'll blurt it out. Probably many of you filled it in for me. Where they burn your body and it returns to the air, settling on the earth, on the water, as dust. This continual change is part and parcel of our spiritual heritage. We will continue evolving, just as life on earth has evolved. We'll continue to evolve, change. There's no destination, no state of achievement where you can rest on your laurels and say, I'm enlightened. All you can say is that you're on the spiraling path of enlightenment as it races through an infinite series of universes. So you don't become enlightened. You be enlightenment. You join the process. What marks us from one another is only our level of understanding, our level of awakening to what we've always been, returning the fastest way to home. Recently, I've been considering the expansion of the big C, compassion. The big C, as differentiated from the little c, compassion. A little c, compassion, is the desire, the willingness to help, to physically help. But the big compassion is just unconditional love. And as an exercise, I used to start from my center and expand outwards, including one and all. But recently, I've been seeing this process from the other direction. I let everything that is envelop and encompass me. Instead of me accepting, embracing the world, I'm experimenting with the opposite. Letting the world embrace me. And it's interesting. Of course, the results are identical, but it's an interesting change of perspective to recognize that I'm part of it instead of simply it being part of me. And of course, it's inseparable. Can't separate us, me, from us. Because this is division and separation. This involves some kind of judgment which needs to be dismissed. Judgment needs to be discarded, completely discarded. There's just no room for judgment, for jealousy, for coveting, for desiring in any form. Just no room. So there's always work to do. There's never a sense of aha. We have aha moments, but these moments are only part of a sequence of more and more aha moments. There's always more. More to learn, more to sort, more to experience. And that fills me with freedom and excitement to see what the next moment will bring. Each moment is an opportunity. Hopefully, an opportunity for growth. Use your time well. Watch, reflect, accept. These are things that you can continue to do. And I don't know about you, but it is such a relief that not only is there no death, there's no ultimate destination. The sense of freedom that I get from that understanding that it's a continuum. There's no enlightened, unenlightened. It's where you are on the continual journey of enlightenment. Keep going. Walk on, as my friend Christmas Humphreys said long ago.